Okay, live button is being pressed.
Now
Do
what?
do we show up? Is it oh? I'm saying I'm live,
Oh, oh,
and it looks like we have a stream up. Cool. I'm hoping it actually is up for your end as well, because that'd be
it is
awkward.
up to my
Okay,
end.
that's fine.
Yeah.
That is a okay. Oh my god, my PC is just minimizing things it shouldn't. Episode 4.
Oh,
Episode
yes.
4.
F4.
That was
Look
quick
at
to
this
get to
go.
episode 4. And we got the Halloween spooky backgrounds with their spooky little logos. The little witches' hats.
Yeah, got a little budget
Yeah.
Halloween theme going on. We got this.
Um,
Uh,
yeah. It's finally October of 2021. Thank Stream Element Spots here. Don't worry.
oh, cool. I'm
Um,
glad it told us.
yeah, I'm so glad it just let us know that it's running. Cool. Um, yeah, Halloween.
Yes.
Spooky
I
month.
love Halloween.
What's the
When I was
famous?
a little younger, I
Wait,
used to actually go trick-or-treating and stuff. It was
my
fun.
neighborhood never did that, but it's not like I have a shortage of sugar anyway.
Oh,
Um,
dude, like what would happen, right? I used to trick or treat, but some people wouldn't like have candy because like it was kind of like on and off for my neighborhood. Some
oh
people would be
my.
like, "Oh yeah, we have candy for it and stuff," and other people would be like, here, have an apple or something," and I'd be like, "Oh, thanks, I guess."
As you do.
Yeah.
Um, what's the famous quote from? Is it Mean Girl about Halloween?
Which quote?
Oh, I swear there's one about Halloween, or maybe I'm getting the wrong pop culture.
Oh my
Um,
god.
my only because my neighborhood never did any trick or treating or anything like that.
Mhm.
There was the occasional school party, like a Halloween themed party for the year level, blah blah blah. And you can kind of imagine the kind of costume dressing people would tend to go for, especially the whole stereotype about bloody what's it called, Catholic
Slutty
school.
outfits.
Yeah, especially Catholic school.
Yeah.
Do you not know the
Getting down
stereotype
with
with
the
that?
Catholic schools. I no, never went to
Oh,
one, so.
don't worry then. If you know, you know. If you know, you
Oh,
know.
fair enough. Yeah.
Um,
Um.
yeah. So like, I would be like, I think like I used to have like a skeleton onesie. It just does not fit anymore, and I don't even know where it lives. Might have been chucked out. In all honesty, it's tiny. Um, I'd wear something like that. Like it's me in a onesie, and you get you like, oh, I'm coming as a cheerleader, and there's like barely any fabric on what you wear. It's like, okay, nice cheerleading.
Oh my god. Yeah. I would always go as a witch for Halloween,
Oh, so
because
that's why you wanted to put the witch hats on.
yeah, yeah. Well, I guess that's just a coincidence, actually.
Yeah,
But I remember, my mom used to have like this whole like a bag full of Halloween decorations because she'd still decorate for Halloween and stuff.
yeah.
And I'd have like this little spider web cool looking cape, and I'd have this the matching hat that had like this overhang of also like it's like got spider webs on it and stuff.
Yep.
I never did my makeup to look like a witch, but I'd always wear
Imagine
like
doing your
that.
makeup. Wouldn't know what
Yeah.
that's like.
Yeah, I never really did that. And then I'd have like these really these boots I really loved to wear on Halloween. They had like a really big heel on them and stuff. They were the closest thing I'd wear to like high heels and stuff. It was really
Yeah.
fun. I
Look
also
at
had
you
like a
go.
little cauldron
Look at
and a
you go.
little broom. Yeah.
Hermione
I
Granger.
had a lot of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, those are I used to love going trick or treating for Halloween. Obviously in current times you can't do that, but It used to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I do it like
funny how you can't do that
yeah.
anymore.
I think if you went up to someone's house and asked for candy, they'd fucking pepper spray you. They'd be like, "Get away from my
Don't
house!"
cough on my house.
Yeah,
Um,
it'd be chaotic.
but yeah, it's interesting because Melbourne, from memory, we weren't too far off opening up actually for Halloween. I think we might have actually been open by then. Because I remember cricket started early to mid November. So I think we just started training.
I
Um,
am.
so yeah, like we weren't in total lockdown last Halloween. We definitely will be this Halloween.
Oh,
Especially, well,
yeah.
I was meant to have in a few weeks' time. It's the first now, on last week of October, some stage during that week. I was meant to have a ball for uni. I don't think that's happening somehow.
Oh, really? You don't think? Huh.
Yeah. Thanks,
uh,
COVID. Thanks, Gladys. Which, speaking of, did you see the announcement about Gladys today?
no, I didn't.
She's stepping down.
What
Yeah,
is she?
to do
Did
with
she get too much shit or something?
no something to do with potential corruption or something because of that relationship
Oh,
or whatever. I don't know the exact details, but yeah, she's stepping down, and all I can see on Twitter is people overjoyed. And
oh my
given
god.
how much she screwed her own state, she screwed Victoria, she screwed South Australia for a week or two, and she's currently screwing Queensland. I don't think there's going to be
Throwing a
too
lot of
many.
people, apparently.
I don't think there's going to be too many people upset she's gone.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, there's nothing like confirmed or anything in terms of these like corruption allegations. It's just an investigation, so naturally she's just stepping down for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact I know
What?
that before you two, and it's your own bloody state. You there? Never mind, it's just me. Hello. That's fine. Um, Trying something different with doing this on YouTube Live rather than Twitch.
I
But
will be like a couple minutes. Okay, give me
okay,
one
that's
sec.
fine. That's fine. Yeah, giving it a crack on YouTube because that way the VOD will go live like pretty much as soon as I finish. It'll be up within a few minutes. I do like I want to really try out the YouTube scene because I think there is actually some decent potential with YouTube, and I feel like SnacCast is a good opportunity to do the YouTube live thingies, and you don't have to worry about a 20-minute starting screen, which I know annoys some particular people. Sorry, not sorry. Really sorry, not sorry about that one. Um, yeah, we were slightly late, which is partially my fault. By partially, I mean it most definitely was my fault because there were things I was meant to organise for tonight that I most definitely did not do prior because I may or may not have been addicted to FIFA all day. So, yeah, that's my day. I picked up FIFA. Saw someone get pulled over, which was the guy that got pulled over is a moron. So that's a funny little story for when Burrito gets back. But yeah, we picked up FIFA, and yeah, I've been playing that all day. Genuinely, since after about lunchtime when I got home, I've been playing FIFA all afternoon. Most likely going to play it all night because I have an addiction to a new game. And because I don't have a capture card working anymore, you're not going to be seeing it really until I get said capture card, Sag. Makes me very sad. But what can you do? What can you do? Now the question is, what exciting things are people going to be doing for Halloween this year? I'll probably be streaming. It's on Xbox One. So I've got it on the Xbox One. But the thing is, my capture card is so old, they don't manufacture it anymore. and it's just not fast enough for the newer PCs. So that's fantastic. And it's only like 350, $400 for a new one. Um, Technically speaking, I could stream from the console, but that's not really something I want to do. Partially because the console isn't plugged into Ethernet, it's off Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi connection isn't fantastic in my room. So I'd rather actually have a stable stream, even if the gameplay has a little bit of lag. But it is what it is. I'm still playing it. I was saying before, picking up FIFA today because FIFA is the main reason why we started a bit late. No, so where I live, there's like, as you come out of town, you go up like along the highway. You go up like this. It's about a k or two long hill. You go up this hill, and right at the bottom of the hill, as it starts to go up, is where the police station in the town is. And because there's roadworks and like the detours you have to go through because you can't go down Main Street at the moment. I was going around this, like the back way, like the detour to get around the roadblock to get to the JB where I was picking it up. And this guy behind me was not happy I was doing the speed limit. Like, he was tailgating me pretty much the whole way through the detour. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And because the highway is double lane all the way up the hill, I'm on the left lane. He comes up the inside, like the center lane, and in a 60 zone just floors it to at least like 85, 90. He gets halfway up the hill. Police car comes around the corner from the top of the hill going back down. Instantly turns around and follows him up the hill. And I'm like, you idiot. You moron. And I had a good chuckle at that. I'm just cruising up at 60. He's pulled over, looking pretty shitty, and I just cruise past going 60. If it wasn't for the police, would have probably given him the bird because, you know, I'm a nice guy. But something I did mention, us experimenting on YouTube for SnacCast. I like YouTube streaming.
Well, that is one of our topics today. Did you want to talk about that?
That's what I was leading into, yeah. Like, I actually, when I did the YouTube stream last week, the DVD one, I actually really enjoyed it. And it's pretty, like, I'm quite the fan of YouTube streaming, I'll be honest. The one issue is I have nowhere near the same established audience for YouTube as I do Twitch. So it's not something I could actually like switch over to in the near future at all. Because I would just not benefit from it. It'd cause more harm than good.
Not to mention, yeah, it's not to mention there's like the whole thing about the algorithm is pretty bad for smaller streamers on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's harder for you to actually push like your image out there and everything.
Yeah, so like if I had a more established YouTube audience, I honestly would consider it. Like really consider it. But I don't have that established audience. So we're not. But it is something I intend to persist with. And I mean, even from a money point of view, you get a better cut from YouTube than you do Twitch for the members, they call, instead of subs. Because YouTube do a straight 50-50. YouTube is 70-30 in favor of the streamer.
Twitch?
No, oh yeah.
You said YouTube twice.
You know what I mean. Twitch is 50-50. YouTube is 70-30 in favor of the streamer. So like a $5, say a $5 YouTube subscription, the streamer gets about $2.50. On YouTube, they'll get, what's that about? More or less about $3.50. They're about something or other.
From what I've seen, from what you've showed me, with streaming on YouTube compared to Twitch, I really like some of the features that YouTube has because they've got, for example, One of them is the subscription cost. So if you were a member of
Yes,
their
that's probably
channel,
the most appealing thing to me is the way their
the
members go.
fact you can just change how much you can actually have more than like 3
You
tiers
can
as well.
have between 1 and 5 tiers. You choose how many you want. You set the prices for each, and also the perks that come with each. So, like, Twitch is very much going off USD. Um, it's $5 for tier one, $10 for tier two, 30 for tier three. You get all like however many emotes for tier one, depending on the streamer's status, like affiliate partners, sub goals, whatever. Then tier two, you get 1 or 5 more emotes, depending if they're partnered or not, which is an extra $5 just for 1 to 5 emotes. And then tier three is an extra $20 for the same thing. Whereas like YouTube, I could be like, okay, we're just gonna have a $5 sub and that's it, or $5 and a $10 with whatever bonuses and perks that come with each.
And is that an AUD?
I don't know.
I mean, YouTube subs?
I don't know. I honestly do not know.
Because knowing YouTube and how big it is, it's probably USD that's based off.
I mean, USD works well for the Aussie dollar, so getting paid in USD is great. Paying in USD, not so much.
Nope. Because I really like the whole waiting room thing too.
Yes.
So instead of having like a starting soon screen, you can literally just have like a thumbnail and stuff.
Yeah. And I believe you can set like a trailer, like a little video to play in that waiting room. I just A, don't know how, B, don't have one to
That's probably important.
But then when I'm only planning to stream here like once, very rarely twice a week on here, there's no real point to go and make a whole thing for something that really doesn't bring much benefit. But yeah, like Twitch at the moment is still the better streaming platform. But YouTube is definitely catching up. YouTube is definitely catching up.
I feel like Twitch is more friendly towards newer content creators, but YouTube has like to an extent, obviously, not
There's just zero discoverability on Twitch.
Yeah.
YouTube has a fair bit. Although, did you see the stuff Twitch announced over the last 24 hours?
What?
Boosting streams. You know how they did the stream boosting with channel points?
Mm-hmm.
They're planning to implement that, but you have to pay for it, and Twitch get 100% of the revenue.
What, of the stream?
No, of the boost. So you have to pay for the boost instead of it being channel points, and the streamer gets none of it.
Jesus, that's kind of brutal.
Yeah. Which...
Like, at least give them some sort of cut.
Yeah, so it's like... And I know a lot of people aren't big fans of that. Like, it's
another thing where...
I like the boost system. Like, I like the idea of the boosting system. But the way they're, like, executing it with the way they plan to monetize it, it's just like, I don't see that working too well for you, Twitch. And there's been, at least going off Twitter, there's been pretty hefty backlash about it.
Not to mention, they're bringing out these new features and they still haven't dealt with the bot raids and shit.
The thing is, with the bot raids, there's a lot more to that, like, coding-wise than people actually realize. Like, it's not something they can go, oh, click of the fingers, and bang, we've fixed it. There's a lot of things they need to do behind the scenes, and, like, they've got a lawsuit at the moment going with the host guy, as more hotspots are going out there, but that's not the point. But they're in a legal dispute with the guy doing it, and...
so they've actually figured out who's doing it?
Yeah. And they're planning to go to town.
Oh, damn.
Which they absolutely should.
Yeah, for sure. They're being an asshole.
Oh, they're ruining so many people's streams and just experiences on Twitch. And it's causing so much harm. But yeah, a lot of people just go, oh, Twitch are doing nothing. Twitch are useless, blah, blah, blah. How come they didn't fix it straight away? There's only so much they can do instantly. A lot of it is a lot of groundwork behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Admittedly, some could argue there's stuff there that they probably should have done in the past, but that's not the point.
I still think that they should change it so you can't make infinite YouTube accounts on the one email, or make it so that it's harder to make accounts that easily.
Yeah,
Because I
but
think that's really stupid.
they are like people have been like that are very high up in the streaming circles have been talking to Twitch, and they are actually coming up with fixes, and they're working hard on it. It's just coding is easier said than done. So
Mm.
we'll just sort of wait and see what comes out from it. With the one email, absolutely. I did notice that as well, but I wasn't going to pull you up on it because I knew what you meant. Unlike some people, clearly. Um,
Thanks, Beck.
so
Another thing I wanted to mention about the
yes,
kind of similar topic to this
yes.
was what do you think about the partnered streamers getting upset over the new things that affiliates are getting?
What new things are affiliates getting again?
So like they introduced like affiliates getting like their new this happened a while ago, but I'm saying like at the time partner streamers were getting upset that affiliates are getting so many things added
I
to
mean,
like their level of
it's
what's
to
it
an
called?
extent. It's like to an extent, like you don't want affiliates to have absolutely nothing. Because like
Because it's the
so for
majority of the
example,
platform.
yeah. Like for example, where it went from one tier one emote to a maximum of 5. Fantastic change. Because it actually allows some sort of like the reason anyone subscribes to someone on Twitch, most of the time, there's always exceptions, is for emotes. Like combination of emotes and supporting the streamer themselves. If you only have one emote, like me for example, yours is a bit more unique because the whole burrito. But like me
Yeah.
for example, penguin emotes. Before that of the change for affiliates, my tier one I had to split between popcorn and love. I think I kept changing it. I think it was love for most of the time though. But you've got one penguin emote, which is a love heart. You could go to a lot of partnered streamers that are penguin emotes, and they've got love, high, cry, hype, whatever. Like they've got 20 plus penguin emotes, including a
Yeah.
love one where I only have the one. And I think 5 was a good number for it. Plus, you have to actually work to get it. It's not like you're given it
Yeah,
straight
you have
away.
to
You do
unlock
have
the
to.
emote
So
slots,
it's
yeah.
50 sub points to get the 5th emote,
Mhm.
which honestly is another thing that's easier said than done.
Yeah. I'm only at 4 for my sub emotes.
Yeah, well, the I'm below the 50 sub points. I think I might be like I think I'm just under the sub points you would need to unlock the 5th emote as it stands. And I've probably
Mhm.
only really been over it like maybe 3 times. So it's not
Yeah.
like I'm not the smallest affiliate going there. I'm nowhere near the biggest or anything like that, but I'm not the smallest. And it still I don't get the numbers you need to maintain that a lot of the time. So
Yeah, I
it's
think and
definitely
those
easier said than done. Like people say, "Oh, 50, that's not much," but maintaining
like
50
the average
subscribers as an
streamer is.
affiliate, unless you're really like growing towards like that partner territory, 50 plus subs like maintaining that month to month is not easy at all.
Mm.
And I don't think people realize that or give people enough credit for it.
Yeah, especially with the currency conversion, because it's
Yeah.
like for Australians, it is I feel so lucky when an Australian fucking subs to me because I'm like, dude, that's expensive. Like just to tier 1 sub, it's insane how much it costs.
Yeah, and like the thing is it's what about $5, $5, $6 for Amazon Prime?
Mm.
About that. I don't know the
Or
exact I
it's
don't know the exact
$7
7.
for
There
yeah.
So it's $7 for Amazon Prime, which gets you all the Amazon perks plus a free tier 1 Twitch sub each month. So for $7, you get all of that with Amazon plus the free Twitch sub. For an Australian, it costs what, $8 for a sub?
Yep, now $8. They only
Yeah.
recently changed it down to 8. It
It was
used to be 9.
actually cheaper for the longest time on USD. Like USD converting to AUD, because I think it would go to about $7.30 a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Which, if like, I know they've got it localized currency, which I don't. It's a decent idea to do to make it easier for people. Blah blah blah. I get that, but I would almost rather have the option to do it in AUD or USD because it's actually still cheaper for us to do it in USD.
Yeah, pretty much.
And yeah, there's a lot of creators to sub to and support. While I think of it, I'm gonna look up if is YouTube membership prices local. That's what I want. No, that's just telling me like YouTube, like the actual YouTube Prime, whatever you want to call it. YouTube Premium, that's the one.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say was, it's like, I remember when I used to sub to plenty of people on Twitch, but then
Yeah.
it started just really adding up.
Oh yeah.
Like, I can't sub to anyone anymore. Like, I only have my Prime sub, that's it. And so what I do is I just use that sub to
You just
get,
rotate
like, to
that
sub to
around.
someone. Yeah, to someone with, like, a partnered streamer, preferably, because of the fact they have so many more emotes.
At the moment,
So
I have
yeah.
I have 6 subscriptions. One is a Prime, and one is a Tier 2, and the other ones are just like sporadic. When I can afford it, I'll like support them for that month.
Yeah.
And then there's also one I just wanted a sniper founder badge, and I'm just still got the renewing sub. Shout out to you, Rhino. It's hard not to sniper founder badge because you can only do that for so long.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, like as it stands, because of my own financial situation, I'm just cutting back on my sub renewals. There's my Prime sub, and then I only have one renewing sub each month.
Yeah.
So that's 2 subscriptions. I've got 15 gifted at the moment. But yeah.
How many do I have? Let me have a look.
Too many. Too many is the answer.
Okay. I probably don't even have as many as you at the moment. Let's have a look.
Oh, I remember when you had like, oh yeah, I've got like 80 gifted subs.
Not at once. I've had like max 30. I have 14 at the moment.
No,
so I have like pretty much the same.
One less than
yeah.
But I definitely support people where I can. It's just, it's not cheap for Australians, and Aussies get absolutely shafted by conversion rates with currency.
Well, we'll go back to like what I was originally talking about, though. Do you think partners have a right to be upset about how many benefit affiliates are getting?
To an extent. Like, you don't want the only thing partners get over affiliates is purely like the encoding settings, which most of the time doesn't matter anyway. The extra emotes and a couple of animated ones. Like, you want there to be more of an incentive to become partnered.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, if that, like, there's definitely going to be other bonuses. I want to make that clear. It's not me saying, oh, that's the only benefit of being partnered. But if, like, let's compare myself and Jamie, because Jamie recently got partnered. If the only difference between the two of our streams is he gets a few more emotes and a couple of animated ones and guaranteed encoding, which, I'll be honest, I've only had to restart stream maybe once in the last 6 months because I didn't get the encoding settings. If those 3 things are the only things partners get over affiliates, there's not too much incentive to get partnered in that regard.
And a shiny badge, you're forgetting.
A shiny badge.
You get the tick.
But yeah. If there was more of an incentive, like, you don't want affiliates to get everything partners do. You still want there to be like the multiple reasons why you should pay for partner, blah 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 blah. Like, I'm excluding the things like the opportunities people will get because they're partnered, the exposure, blah blah blah. I'm ignoring all that. It's purely the
Yeah,
physical features.
exactly.
Um,
Um,
so yeah,
my opinion on it, right,
yeah,
is that I feel like I do agree. I think they can get upset to a certain extent. One thing I will say though is that I think the main incentive for a lot of people is two things to get partner. One, the badge. Obviously, a lot of people like having the little badge to show off and everything. And two would be the emotes.
yeah,
I think a lot of people would love having like 20 to 30 emotes in their first slot.
yeah,
And it's like, I think the one thing that I would want to argue about that is sure, it sucks that affiliates are getting more features for the partnered streamers, but the thing is, it's like affiliates are the majority of the platform.
yeah.
Like, I think we did the numbers on it or something
It's
about how
something.
many
Yeah,
partnered streamers
it's
there are.
something. There's some huge number. It's like 3 million streamers, or might be. Yeah, but I think it's about 3 million streamers, and there's only like 40,000, give or take, that are partnered.
That's like including the people who get given partner for like esports reasons and stuff
I,
as well.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, it's like they make up a
Yeah,
minority of the
absolutely.
platform. Yeah, so it's like while I do understand their frustration with them, like for
It's
example, changing the requirements for partnered and stuff and making it easier than it was before, because like I'm pretty sure you used to have to get like an average of 90 viewers rather than
it's
75
it's
before.
been, as far as I've been like properly involved with Twitch, it's been what it is now. But I do believe it used to be a little bit higher.
Mm,
Like that's me guessing. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm not 100% though. But yeah, a lot of
yeah.
people compare, like YouTube does have the partnership, which is pretty difficult to hit. Like that's if you're really a developed channel. Um,
Mm.
but YouTube, to get monetized alone, like it's very easy to get affiliate on Twitch. Let's be honest, it's not that difficult. On
The most
YouTube,
difficult thing is getting the 50
and
followers,
that's
to be
purely
honest.
when you can start getting money from Twitch for your subs,
Yeah.
bits, etc. You can still get donos and stuff beforehand because that's not through Twitch. But purely Twitch's methods of pay, which is biddies and subs, you have to be affiliate for. On
Yeah.
YouTube, to get to that stage where you can start earning money, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in the last 12 months.
Yeah, so you really need to grind for that shit.
Yes, and the thing is, to get affiliate, it's what, stream in a 30-day period, stream, what is it, like 3 times, like 3 or 4 times, for a total of like 12 hours, average of 3 or more viewers, 50 followers. Yeah, YouTube has changed a lot. That's a good point.
I think
And
it's just because, like,
it did used to be in much less, and then there was so many people getting money from
yeah, a
YouTube.
lot of people jumped on the
Which I
bandwagon
think,
of streaming on YouTube.
I'm
So.
pretty sure because I have a different YouTube account that's not a public one. It's got like personal stuff on it. That I think I've only used it in the last few years purely to upload uni assignments on. That I think when I upload a few videos, that actually did reasonably well, like several hundred views on each. I think I actually could have potentially gotten like money from YouTube, like applied back then,
Oh damn.
but I just didn't. To put it simply, I just didn't.
Yeah, that's just like me when I could have gotten Legacy and DVD, but I couldn't. I just didn't.
And yeah, well, because you had the game back then, but you didn't play it. Like you had no characters
Yeah.
level 50 when Legacy was still a thing, did you?
Well, I could have grinded them if I
Like you
didn't
could have
play.
grinded it, but it wasn't like you got a character
Yeah.
level 50 and just didn't press one button, and that's why you missed out on Legacy.
Oh
And
yeah,
like,
no, obviously not.
I missed out on Legacy by a couple of days. I got the game. I think the deadline was like the 26th of November or something like that, and I got on like the 30th.
Let me quickly double check,
It's
but
like the
I
26th
got
or 29th.
yeah.
I think it was Jimmy. I want to say, Jimmy.
Yeah.
He had, I think he said, 2 killers and 2 survivors, level 50, but because of how much a grind it was back then, he didn't prestige because he didn't want to go through the grind again. So he had 4
Oh.
characters that were just a button push away from Legacy.
That's so sad.
Yeah,
But yeah, my first achievement in this game was escaping through the hatch, and I got that
toxic survivor
on
man.
the 9th of August 2016.
Yeah,
So I could
definitely.
have played if I actually
Yeah,
started playing at that point, but I was so shit scared of the game. Like after that experience, I just went, I'm not touching the game now. Goodbye.
yeah.
And I didn't touch it for a full year after
It's
that.
because you know
And
how
then
the
I
killers
randomly,
felt whenever a survivor brings in a key, which,
I didn't bring in a key. I just escaped when everyone died.
speaking of, PTB and the changes coming.
Mm,
Overall, what's your opinion? Like, as an overall thing, not going into the individuals of it,
yeah.
what's your overall feeling about the upcoming changes to
Okay.
DBD?
So we'll go through it one at a time, right? So the survivor, I like her aesthetic, her
Yes,
perks. We'll
she's
get into
adorable.
those.
She's adorable.
Yeah. The aesthetics, like the perks, sorry, we'll get into that because that's a bit of a complicated gray area right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the add-on changes I think are kind of interesting. I feel like I'll have to play against them
A
more
lot of it,
in
yeah.
live.
Like
Yeah.
you and I barely played the PTB. I think I went on twice. Once was just to check the changes like on paper. The
Mm.
second time was when you and I went to just test a couple of things.
We did some
Um,
myth busting.
yeah, we did myth busting. Um,
Yeah.
but a lot of it's going to be see how a lot of these new add-ons and changes to the killers themselves, like the 4 killers that got changed, like a lot of the add-ons did get reworked for different killers, but the 4 killers that their powers got altered, not just the add-ons. So I'm taking Pig out of this for now. You've got Trapper, Spirit, Deathslinger, and Plague. How do we feel about the new Trapper on paper? That is. Because neither of us have actually played as or against the new Trapper yet.
Hmm. What was the change to his main power? Because like I
They
only remember the
they
add-ons.
you start with an extra bear trap. So you
Oh
start with
yeah.
2 and you can carry 2. You don't need an add-on for that because it used to be you can only carry 1 and pick up 1.
Yeah.
Um, there used to be RNG on how many. So you would always start with 1 or 2 or however many traps you would have add-on dependent. So it'd be whatever traps were in your hand plus 4 to 6 randomly across the map. So you might
Okay.
so if you had no add-ons, you would have between 5 and 7 traps. Now what they've done
Mm.
is that you've got 2 in your hand that you start with, plus 6 guaranteed on the map. There will always be 6.
All right. I'm gonna start by saying this, just for the viewers watching. Just remember, I am a survivor main, so I do not play killer. Penguin's a killer, like player. He plays killer, but
Yes.
I personally have probably spent not even a tenth of my hours in DBD on killer.
Yeah.
So let me explain. So I think it's a good change for him because I've always felt the Trapper has been underpowered in the
Yes.
way that he's very slow to set up. Same to Hag, so they've been really hard to to get ahead with, kind of thing.
Yes.
Um, when it comes to his add-ons, I
Mm-hmm.
find one particular add-on pretty interesting. The one where it's like
Is
once
it
you
where
place the trap
yeah, so
down.
yeah, the one where he carries all the traps, like so instead of starting with 2 or 3 if you've got that trapper bag add-on, you start with all 8. There's none on the map, but as soon as you place a trap, you can't move it. It's stuck there.
Yeah, I feel like only really experienced Trapper players would use that add-on, and not only that, they'd probably send it to a particular map that they know really well. And
It's so
the one thing I will say about it, though, before
yes.
you say your part,
Yes.
is I feel like it can be a bit of a shot in the foot, especially with Dead Hard being meta and basement builds as well. But I'll comment on that afterwards. But like with Dead Hard, if they know you're using that add-on, if you can't pick up a trap, they can just Dead Hard over most of your traps. if you're running around a
True,
particular loop.
but if in that argument, if they're, let's say I'm the trapper, you're looping me, you've got dead hard, and you
Yeah.
know I've trapped just a regular pallet. You
Hmm.
dead hard over that trap. That buys you one more loop.
Sure.
And say
I
like
mean,
the next
obviously,
tile over is another pallet. I've trapped that as well. Well, bad luck, you're dead anyway.
sure. That is very true. Unless you've placed it wrong and you can just walk around it, but that's very rare that a
Let's
trapper does
assume
that.
that the trapper's got good placement.
Yeah. But yeah, also basement builds would be pretty hard as well because
Well,
if they just placed traps down in basement and then also ran that add-on where the trapper can't get trapped by his own traps, that's a lot of trap. Um, they can literally make like a really good basement build.
because the thing is, I think the trapper changes are fantastic. Definitely needed, and I don't think they've gone over the top on anything. And I like add-ons like that with Trapper that pretty much change the entire way that a killer plays. Like, instead of it being the same old, like, I love Doctor, but all his add-ons don't really change how you play him. The only one really is his tapes, which that's more harm than good. But think along the lines of, say, like an evil incarnate Myers or Myers with one of the mirrors, or only with that add-on where he can see the survivor auras when they walk through blood.
Yeah.
Those kind of add-ons that completely change how killer plays. I love those add-ons because it's something fresh. And I think that's this add-on. That add-on is Trapper's equivalent. It changes the way he plays. And like, regardless of what add-ons or how skilled you are as Trapper, the most effective way for Trapper is to play and protect an area rather than chase. Like, he doesn't, unless you
Yeah, like
go,
in Shark Region.
yeah, like unless you go somewhere that's trapped, like a loop that's trapped, he has nothing to help him in chases. Like, even like Clown has the bottles, Doctor has his shocks, whatever. Like, a lot of killers that don't rely on having like the protecting your territory have like the ability to break up chases or like help hit and down survivors quicker in chases. Trapper doesn't have that, so his most effective way to use his ability effectively is to protect a certain area. Like, okay, these are 4 or 5 gens, I'm going to protect these, I don't really care if they get the others. I'm going to protect this area, set my traps up here. That's the most effective way to play Trapper. This add-on helps with that so much because you can just look at the gen spawns. Okay, these 4 gens are all pretty decent to protect. I'm going to trap the shit out of this side of the map and not give a shit about the other gens. So, I still think it's a very good change overall. How do we feel about Spirit?
Wasn't there one particular thing that isn't getting implemented, or it didn't look like it got implemented?
So the 2 base kit changes they said is that when you're inside 24 meters, which is her terror radius without any perks or anything like that, you can hear the like whooshing sound. It's directional instead of global. Like, I say global, but non-directional is the better word. So it becomes directional when within 24 meters and she's phasing. I think that's a good change. I think that's a really good change. And from what I saw of gameplay, it added a bit more of a counterplay to Spirit. Not too much, mainly because of Spirit's movement speed. It's just because she's so quick, you can't react as quickly. But it did have some more outplay and just a bit more fair. The second change, which is the one that wasn't in the PTB, and people aren't too sure if that was intended or not, is that she would leave dust, like dust would fly up where she steps while phasing. I think that's overkill, that second part. And I don't know if it not being in the PTB was intentional or not, but I think Spirit's fine without it, and I think what they've done base kit wise is fine.
Yeah. My opinion on it, I won't lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't like versing spirit due to the fact of how many things that have happened in the past where it just felt like there was just no counterplay to it.
Oh,
Like the
100%.
fact that like she had before she had no window fucking animation. I thought that was really lazy how the devs did that.
Like
Like it just
it's a
felt
cool
stupid.
concept with like the whole style of the killer to not have that window animation because she sort of like phases in and out. Like really cool
Yeah.
concept. Like don't get me wrong, fantastic concept. It just wasn't practical in a
Yeah,
gameplay
no, it
sense.
just was not practical at all. The directional thing, I really like that. I do agree. I feel like having both of those would be an overkill. I feel like it would be a situation where if you were either going to do the dust one or the directional, you'd probably just pick one and go with
Yeah,
it. Which
and
I would personally do the directional
yeah,
instead of the dust
I
one.
think that's the fairer one.
Yeah.
She has some interesting add-ons now.
Yes, she does.
I can't remember a lot of them at the top of my head. I know they, I think reworked or nerfed to shit the, not the mother-daughter ring, the other ultra rare, the glasses. I think that's a rare now. They've completely changed its effects. But the new ultra rare is that isn't it if you're stunned while was it no if you stunned by a pallet you get your power back, like your bar
Yeah,
fully recharges.
I thought that was really strong.
I like that. I feel like
Mm.
that's like I haven't seen really any gameplay of it, nor have I used it, nor have I come up against it. But on paper, I think that's a well balanced ultra rare. Because like ultra rare should be the best add-ons a killer has, but they shouldn't be game breaking like old iridescent head or anything like that. Like definitely my bias for Doctor coming through here. I think Doctor has some of the most balanced ultra rares in the game. Very strong add-ons. They're not over like they're a little bit overwhelming, but that's also part of the whole way. Like Doctor's a very overwhelming killer, but the add-ons are his best, and they aren't unfair, but they're still really strong. So they're fairly balanced ultra rares, at least in my opinion. And I think this add-on with Spirit is the same as an ultra rare. Very strong, but a balanced ultra rare. Like ultra rares aren't meant to be weak add-ons, which is I feel like the developers get a bit scared of releasing very strong ultra rares. Like even Nemesis's ultra rares now, they buffed both of them and they're still not great. Like,
Yeah.
but they did get a buff, and like that's the thing, they're not his strongest add-ons when you would expect that from the ultra rare add-ons. So I don't have an issue with the ultra rare being a strong add-on. Just so long as
Also,
it's not
one of the
broken.
add-ons that I remember, by the way, that you could probably comment on is the one where a husk explodes. Maybe you want to comment on that one. That one was pretty interesting.
Good concept. Numbers are too low for it to really do much. It's
I
for
feel like
so
another
it
thing
blocks
is,
Windows. Is it just Windows or is it palettes too? I think it's
I
just
think it's
Windows.
pallets as well.
Well, it definitely blocks Windows, and if it blocks palettes, it does that too. But whatever it blocks, it's only within 4 meters of the husk for 5 seconds, which isn't that big, nor is it very long. Like maybe
Yeah.
the duration, say, well, a default cooldown if you use her ability fully is I think 16 seconds. So that's a third of her cooldown, assuming you phase the whole time. Which, if you phase the whole time, you're probably not within 4 meters of your husk. So
Yeah, I don't know.
I would say like just experiment with the numbers for it, sure. But I would say instead of it being 4 meters for 5 seconds, say double it, 8 for 10 seconds. I think that could work.
Just make a sequel and fix the bad game.
Yeah. Deathslinger. All they really did, they changed some of the add-ons accordingly, but the main change was that you can no longer quickscope. You have to actually properly aim down the sights before firing. I think that's a good change because he really was not fun to
Yeah,
go up against. Because he
I think
could
sure it won't
fire,
really
he could
fun.
fire at you before you could even react. And I'm not
Yeah,
talking about like just to vault. It's like to strafe left or right.
I feel like a lot of the other abilities they had some sort of whatever charge time. I don't get why they didn't add that for him. It felt dumb.
It effectively is a charge time, if you think about it.
Yeah, but if you can quick scope, it's not that much of a charge time
Yeah, but now you have to
compared
properly.
to other
Yeah,
things.
like now you properly have to look down sights before you can fire.
Mm.
So that effectively is like a charge time in itself. And then they just changed the add-ons accordingly and buffed a couple of them, which is fine.
None of them were really notable in my opinion, so
I think
I don't really have an
I think the
opinion on
main
them.
one they reworked one ultra rare, and then the exposed ultra rare they just reduced the range of that slightly, so it's 12 meters instead of 15.
Mm.
Plague. She got a little buff as well, and it looks a bit
Remind me,
nutty.
what was the buff?
I know when you've got your vial, or what is it, corrupt purge. That now makes there's a much reduced cooldown between when you can fire that and M1, and they've also increased the speed you move with it. There's a few other changes. Can't remember the top of my head. I think it's only is it 4 pools now? Or is that an add-on? Can't remember with that.
I'm pretty sure the one that changed our pools was
There's some
they
that
got rid of a lot of the ones that made it so it would reduce our pools or whatever.
so they've still got the 2 apples that add a corrupt pool.
Yeah.
But I thought they made it 4 pools by default now.
I think they did, yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Pig had add-on changes, which some of them are nutty.
I really want to talk about the ultra rare.
Okay.
The one that makes it so everyone starts with a head trap.
Yes.
I thought that was a really interesting one.
People, I think, are going to believe it's stronger than it actually is.
I mean, if you think about it, the survivors only have 2 choices. They could either, one, just try and do gens and hope that they can get like 3 gens out at once and then go for head traps, or they waste time at the start to go and get them off before they even start gens, which either way would kind of put pressure on them.
Yep.
I do think it's kind of stupid though that it's all of her head traps.
I don't.
For that add-on.
I don't.
You don't?
I think they didn't need to do that for that. Because the thing is, people don't realize. One of the big things that the reverse bear traps do, which people don't give enough credit for, is the game slowdown. It forces survivors to get off gens and actually do a secondary objective or they die. Which is a lot of that's a lot of mid to late game pressure you get through her ability. You convert all that free pressure straight to the start, which if you're a good enough pig, you don't need it.
When you think about it, not a lot of killers have that kind of pressure.
Yeah, so you're giving up that pressure for a bit more pressure early game. And Oddstarver did a video with that new add-on. Like, they worked around it. They had to get everyone in a circle, down everyone, put the traps on, get them heal back up, go back to where everyone spawned. To sort of emulate it because the add-on wasn't available in the PTB.
Right.
And they got, Scorpions, Josh. Probably one of the best pig mains, period. They got him to play. Add-on was underwhelming, to be honest. Very reliant on others. It worked very well with the old Ultra Rare, which they've now made a green add-on, where you can't see the auras of bear traps, other boxes, unless your bear trap's ticking.
Wasn't that an Ultra Rare before?
Used to be an Ultra Rare, yeah.
Oh.
That's nutty. though that with the new Ultra Res Nutty, because you start with the trap on, and until you do a gen, you can't see the boxes.
Yeah, but yeah, true. Then people will just have to run around.
So they
and
can
try
still
to
get the
find
first gen
them.
quickly, but there goes a lot of time to get the second one because everyone's gonna try and get their head trap off.
Mm.
Um,
Because I think if a pig does it right, if they don't choose to get their head trap off first, she can just rotate around to boxes because everyone's going to be wanting to get their head trap off.
Now, because I have the luxury of the wireless headphones, I need to go refill my drink. So while I do that, just so it's not dead air, why don't you talk about your opinion on the new Survivor perks? Because I can still hear you and actually know what you're saying.
Okay.
So yeah.
Fair enough.
What are your thoughts on the 3 new perks for her?
Alright, so let me quickly... I want to Google the exact numbers. Hang on. Daylight. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So I've got a list of the perks right here. So, you got Clairvoyance, which it activates whenever you cleanse a totem. Well, when empty-handed, hold the ability button to unlock your full aura reading potential. For up to 10 seconds, you can see the auras of exit gate, switches, generators, hooks, and chests within a 64-meter range. So that perk, I feel like it's kind of weak. Because, like...
Okay, I'm back and
sure,
listening. Yes. Continue.
Yeah, so sure, it gives like more incentive to cleanse totems because there are a couple packs that already do that, like with inner strength and stuff like that. But on the other hand, I feel like it's kind of underwhelming, especially if you've got like perks like Detective's Hunch, which after you've done a generator, you can literally see like pretty much everything around you in a certain radius, of course.
mean, they're both the same radius, Detective's Hunt. Like, we're assuming both are tier 3. It's the same radius.
Yeah.
It's just Detective's Hunt shows you generators, totems, and chests. And what's Clairvoyance?
Generators,
exit gates.
Hooks and chests.
Yeah. So it's the same as Detective's Hunch, except a slightly different trigger condition. And instead of totems, you see exit gates and hooks.
I guess it makes sense now that I'm thinking about the perk itself, why it wouldn't show you where other totems are, because you can just activate the perk again.
The thing is that is nice with the perk, though, is it works... easiest way I think to describe it is like a map. Where if you have 20 seconds to use a map and see whatever's tracked on it. And that can be 20 seconds straight if you really wanted to, or a couple of seconds here, a couple of seconds there. Clairvoyance is the same way. So Detective's Hunch, it's 10 seconds when a generator pops, no matter what you do. You can't... It's going to be guaranteed the next 10 seconds as soon as that generator finishes. Clairvoyance, on the other hand, so long as you're not holding an item, because then it doesn't work, you can actually choose when to use them and for how long for, up to that 10 seconds.
That's true. It does have an activate, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
I wish more abilities had that kind of situation.
And so that's why it can be really useful. Like, say you're on an indoor map, and you've been down one end for a lot of it, and a couple of gens have popped, and you only see what's around that area with Detective's Hunch, which, if you're being chased or whatever, you're not going to pay attention to it. And unless you've got a map or something, you won't track it. But say you've got Clairvoyance, and you do that totem, blah, blah, okay, I know there's nothing down here, I want to try and see what's down this end of the map, or something like that. And then it goes 64 meters from where you do that.
Mm.
So I think, like, it's probably slightly on the weaker side, but I still think it's, like, balanced, it's fine. It's probably slightly on the weaker side than strong.
Pretty much, yeah. Overall, I couldn't see myself using this perk if I was to replace any of the other perks I use, usually.
You can make some fun builds with it, but I wouldn't say it's my go-to meta perk. I'd still
Yeah.
pick detectives over it.
Yeah, me too, pretty much. Okay, next perk. So this is where we get into the bit of a controversial, we'll say,
Yes.
territory with the perks. So I'm going to read out the description, but they are both what we call boon perks. So they are the survivor equivalent of a hex perk, but they are for survivors.
And the activation is the same for both. So we only need to
Yeah,
cover that once. There's no point covering the activation for it twice because they work the
yeah,
same way. And if you have more
exactly.
than one, so whether it's running these two together or any future ones on top, they all activate off the same totem the survivor blesses.
Yeah, and as far as we know, it works for all survivors in the radius, right? So
Yeah, it
everyone gets the
100. Yeah, it
effect.
does. Unless they change it with future ones.
Yeah,
The two they've introduced work with anyone in the radius. Yes.
right. So the first one is called Circle of Healing. Any survivors within the boon's totem range gains.
That's not good. We back up. I'm hoping we're back up. Are we all good?
Let me check.
Um.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. OBS just had a weird meltdown.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Start over the perk because I don't know when it cut out.
All right. So any survivors within the boon totem's range gain 100% healing speed bonus and can heal themselves without needing a med kit.
Yep. So that's pretty much will make it, but for your own healing as well as on others, and also unlock self care. So it's 2 perks in one, so long as you win in this radius.
So one thing I'm gonna say straight off the back, I feel like it shouldn't do both. That's just straight up what I think. I think it should either be 100% healing speed, and it doesn't unlock the thing to self care, or it unlocks the ability for you to self care in that radius for anyone, and it's at the same speed as normal self care, and it works for everyone.
I would actually change that slightly. I would make it in that regard. The self-care speed is to like the 32 seconds from half the speed. Because at the moment it effectively unlocks self-care, which is you heal yourself at 50% speed, which means you take 32 seconds instead of 16. But when you chuck the 100% bonus speed on top of it, it's actually back up to 16 seconds. So normal speed. I would keep that at 32.
Because, like, I feel like the boon totems are supposed to be somewhat strong because of the fact that a killer can just distinguish them. My one issue is, apparently with the boon totems, you can continuously cleanse totems as long as there are totems up. Which, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that.
Do you mean the blessing them?
Yeah, like blessing the totems.
If a killer snuffs the totem, as long as there's a dull totem there or even a hex totem, because the boon totems, you can actually override a hex perk.
I think that's interesting, yeah.
They will say they're like, okay, here's a dull... In Killer Shack, we've got a dull totem. I'm going to bless it and put the boon perk on it. Killer comes over, I'm going to snuff that. Turns into a dull. And Survivor's like, nope, I want that back. You can go and re-bless it as many times as you want until a Survivor actually breaks the totem.
Okay, so here's my 50 cents on this, right? I think this could easily be balanced if they, one, made it so that the killer had to spend a little bit longer to cleanse, like to snuff it, like to snuff out the boon perk, and then made it so you can only switch totems if it doesn't get destroyed first. That's the risk you should run. So if, for example, you're using the perk somewhere and then the killer comes over and if he snuffs it out, your perk's gone. But if you want to just move it because the killer hasn't found your perk yet, then you can move it, but only if he doesn't get to it first. I think that would be an easy way to make it more balanced than it is right now. Because the fact that the killer can snuff it out and then the survivor can just put it back, that's not how hex totems work, unless you have Undying.
Even then, that's not quite how Undying works, but it used
exactly.
To be like, yeah. I don't think you should be able to bless hex perks. Because
Well,
I don't like the idea of. So let's just say the killer's running Ruin. No one dying, just Ruin. And I got to
right.
the totem, okay, I'm going to bless this. And instead of Ruin now, it's now the, what's Healing Circle it's called? Circle of
Yeah.
Healing. And then the killer's like, I'm going to snuff this totem, I don't want that. It turns into a dull. You don't get your Ruin back. In all honesty, if you're going to have it, the two options I would have is either make it so you can't bless hex totems, or if you bless a hex totem and the killer snuffs it, it then reverts back to the hex. And if
I
it's a, say, a lullaby or devour where you got stacks, your stacks resume where they left off.
All right. I'm going to disagree with you here. This is my counter argument, okay? I get the boon perks are strong, and at first when I heard that it could overtake a hex totem, I thought that's bullshit, right? But when I saw it in game, when I tested it, when me and you were testing stuff out, think of it this way, right? Blessing a totem takes the same amount of time to cleanse a totem.
Yeah.
If blessing a totem was quicker, I would completely agree with you. I'd be like, yep, that's bullshit, right? Because you can just bless a totem and then the totem disappears. That would be bullshit, right? But the thing is, it does take a while to bless a totem. It takes you the full time, I think it's the same time as cleansing
Yeah,
one.
it is 14 seconds for both, yeah.
Yeah, and then my other problem with what you're saying is the fact that if you couldn't bless over a hex totem, then you could be missing out on using a perk just because the killer brought in all hexes or something. Or with the meta at the moment, they could have brought in Undying and Ruin because that is very meta at the moment. So that means
Yeah.
one survivor could be missing out on using their perk because the killer has decided to bring in hex totems, and then your perk's completely useless pretty much if you don't get a totem like everyone else. That's my counter argument to what you're saying, because I do agree.
Beck brings an interesting point. I don't know about the second one, about you have to cleanse the hex before adding the blessing. But if I would have it longer to either have it longer to bless a hex totem, because not only are you getting rid of the killer's perk, you're replacing it with your own. So if it
that's a
had
good
if it had more
argument, yeah.
of a, so it's 14 seconds to cleanse a totem. Say it was 28 to do the cleanse and then put the blessing on top of it. Because you're removing the killer's perk they can't get back and adding your own, which you can continuously get back if you really wanted to.
I think they're going to change that, to be honest. I don't think they're going to release the boom perk like that, but continue.
Second idea I said before is that if you bless a hex totem and the killer snuffs it, would you be okay if instead of a dull totem, it went back to the hex it replaced? Like reactivate the hex.
I don't think that would be... Because if you're suggesting it like you said, with the fact that if you're blessing the totem, then you would have literally spent that time not only to like get rid of the hex, but also
I see your point there.
You'd be spending so much time wasted instead of doing generators, touching totems, and then the killer would have so much pressure anyway to just end the game if people are just fucking around with hex totems trying to bless them.
That would come under the risk and reward of stream data. No, it's fine. That comes under the risk versus reward of running those kind of perks. The idea of those kind of hex perks for both sides is high risk, high reward.
The thing is, though, with what I've seen, I do think Beck has a point with the fact that the coordination of your team, you would need to actually make the boon totems worth it, doesn't seem worth to me. Because I think, in my opinion, these boon perks are totally pointed towards Swifts. They are literally, I think they've literally just been implemented just for Swift's benefits.
Yeah.
Because in a solo game, do you think anyone's gonna get the fucking unless you're lucky and you get like a smaller map where people might come across your totem area? I don't think it's gonna get that used half the time. Especially if the killer can just come over before he starts chasing you, just snuff the totem out. Since it takes so long to bless another one, he can just start chasing you, and then it
An-
doesn't matter.
Another idea Beck raised is a totem can only have 2 to 3 blessings / hexes on it before it breaks automatically. So
She
say
said
let's
before it breaks when the killer snuffs it again.
yeah. So say let's just say it starts with ruin. Get rid of it. Put boon blessing on it. Killer snuffs it. Boon gets put back on it. That's the third time that totem's been charged. Is probably a better word for it. So it's been charged with ruin, then it's been charged with a boon, charged with the second one. On that snuff to get rid of the second one, that's its third charge. So the totem's like useless now.
I could see that working, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like
Yeah, that's the
like
thing. The boon totem is highlighted for all survivors, regardless if it's yours or a teammate's.
true, but like think about it this way, right? You said the totem like is the equivalent of the heartbeat, right? The average heartbeat radius.
Yes.
What if you put it in one area and then that area has like one pallet, and then once that pallet's gone, it's not really going to be useful in that one area, right? So
Well,
the person would have to move it.
not necessarily. Like, if you think of it, you got a dead zone where you put the boon totem in. If you've got Circle of Healing, you know you can always run there to heal up.
Yeah, but then if a killer follows you into that area, you're kind of fucked, no?
If the killer's following you out there, they're leaving their gens. Like, I'm talking a dead zone as in no generators or anything.
Oh, I meant dead zone as in like there's no pallets, but there's still gens. Like there is like a generator there.
I think the other one is the one that would have more of a play around that. But one of the tactics some people thinking about with the Circle of Healing at least, putting the totem in like where an area of the map where there's no generators, so that if the killer, so if you go out there, let's just say I've hit you and you go all the way out there, I can leave you and protect my gens. You've got a free heal. I can follow you out there, leaving my generators to maybe get it down. Or I could go out there and to stop you from healing entirely, snuff the totem, but once again, I'm leaving my generators. So that's like the balancing act you got to play there.
I still feel that a way to maybe balance it a bit better would be so that, because like I would agree with Goki about how he said it's like, oh yeah, if a killer cleanses it, it should be gone, just like how if a survivor cleanses your totem, it's gone. But the thing is, for killer, it's literally the equivalent of a hatch slam animation. That is not any time. Like, I would maybe agree that it would take like a little bit of time. Then yeah, I would be completely fine if the killer just snuffed it and wasted his time doing that, that it would be gone. Your perk would just be deactivated. But I don't think that as it currently stands now, it would be fair to it wouldn't be worth it to just bring in a perk that, oh, if the killer spends a split second to just snuff it out, it's gone.
I think
yeah, exactly. 1.5 seconds to just get rid of a perk.
I think one change you and I can definitely agree on is it should, if it's replacing a hex, it should take longer. I think we can both agree on that.
I think that's a fair idea. If like for normal totems, it'd be the normal blessing time. But if it's a hex, I think it should be at like maybe 5, 6 or 7 more seconds.
Cleansing like as it stands now, cleansing a hex 14 seconds, blessing a totem 14 seconds. So we'd keep it. You still cleanse a totem at 14 seconds. You bless a dull totem in 14 seconds, but let's just say 24 seconds to bless a hex totem.
Yeah. I think that would probably work if you made it a slightly longer for hex totems.
Getting onto the other boon totem.
Before we go into that, I just wanted to really quickly, but I do agree with Beck on the fact that it would be stupid if you spent like 14 seconds like converting a totem only for it to be gone in a second, literally. Like, I feel like what I suggested before about the whole thing with you can move the perk as long as the killer doesn't spend the time to de-cleanse, like to deboon it or whatever it's called. Because like if it took like maybe 6-7 seconds for the killer to deboon a totem, I think that would be more fair. I don't know what to call it. Deboon?
Yeah. I feel like it's
So-
going to be something the devs are going to be playing around with the actual numbers for a while. To
So
get
if
a
it
proper
took
balancing.
4 seconds to bless a doll, but the killer destroyed that totem.
Yeah, that's the thing. The blessings are too strong at the moment for 4 seconds.
I think that if it was on a non-hex totem and it took that little time, it'd probably need to amp up the numbers a little bit. But if it had a shorter time to bless that totem compared to when the killer snuffs it out, I think that would be more fair. I would agree with that. But the problem is, with the time it takes to bless a totem, it is not fair compared to how quickly he can just snuff it out if it was gone forever in that case.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be something the devs are going to play around the numbers with a bit. The one thing I would say, if it took the killer longer to snuff out, like at the moment, 1.5 seconds to snuff the perk. Say it took the killer 10 seconds. Perk's gone permanently. Would you accept that as fair?
I think 10 seconds is almost too long. I just don't like the fact that it's
You get the idea. Like, make it longer, but it goes away permanently.
Yeah. I think that'd be fine. If it took like maybe 6 or 7 seconds, depending on what tier the survivor has it at, I'm guessing if it's like a higher tier, it'd make it a bit harder to cleanse. Like, not too much, but just like that split second longer. Because as Beck said, the fact that, it'd be taking away from the pressure that the killer has to just run around and start snuffing out survivors' totems, because I have a feeling like killers already have enough objectives to cover, while survivors only have to press M1 on a gen. So it's like, yeah. I just think that as it currently stands, it is very messy to put in the game. Anyway, let me read the second one so that we can judge this as a whole. So the second perk, it's called Shadow Step, obviously with Boon at the front. Any survivor within the Boon totem's range will have their scratch marks and auras hidden to the killer. This effect lingers for 4 seconds after leaving the Boon totem's range. Okay.
That's rough.
That's interesting.
That's
so
rough.
that would mean that if the killer snuffed that out, it would also still last an extra 4 seconds. That's interesting.
Potentially, yeah, I haven't actually seen anything to test if that's true or not. But it means,
my god.
Yeah.
that offering would be nasty.
But yeah.
I feel like
that's a strong add-on. Like, very map dependent. Like, if you've got like a Boon totem in the middle of nowhere in Shelter Woods, that add-on's not gonna do too much.
You mean an offering? Is she talking about an offering?
No, I'm talking about the perk. Becca's talking about offering. I'm talking about the perk. If you say like Shelter Woods, like, you know, the Dull totem we struggled to find the other day.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
This perk won't do really a thing for that. It'll just hide the scratch marks, but you have clear line of sight. My worry is indoor maps, since even some of the more congested larger maps.
Yeah.
Like, indoor maps and corn. This perk is ridiculous.
Yeah, I just feel like with the current state that DBD's in, that these perks have come too soon. I feel like they need to flesh out a couple of things.
But they definitely need to work around the numbers. Yeah, I love the concept. Like, don't get me wrong, great concept. But when you stack these in a Swift, especially on, like I said, any indoor mapping or corn. These are nutty perks.
I feel like a good counter would be to bring like make it either an offering or like an add-on that is added for every killer to obtain, where the killer could see the hex, like the any totem's auras. I think
Mm,
that would might not even probably an add-on would be a bit much because it's like then they're sacrificing another type of offering just to see totems. But maybe an offering to be able to okay, this killer can now see any totem on the map, kind of thing.
there's a lot that have to play around with it.
Mm, definitely for sure. Um,
But
yeah,
we've talked about the changes, the
yes.
everything. How do you feel about the update overall? Like, considering all the killer changes, the add-on changes, the new survivor, and her perks.
I like the fact that they're not just bringing out a new survivor and three perks and going, haha, have this. It's not like lazy. That you can tell that they've clearly put a lot of thought into it and gone, we're going to bring out a lot of things at once, not just a little bit of new content, you know? I
Yeah,
like how they've brought out more than just that. And I
yeah,
can appreciate it.
yep. Well, it's a mid chapter as well. It's not even a proper chapter. It's actually the mid chapter update, which is the freaky thing.
Yeah, and also that is a good point. I wonder if they're making this change so that they can make it more easy to disable, since they've made it easier for them to just switch off perks and stuff. So if the perk starts running rampant or people are starting to like mass hate the perk, they'll be like disable and then they'll be like, yeah, we'll bring it back another time or something.
Yeah, I think that's a good change to have anyway.
Mm.
Now, where do you
Let's
want to go to
switch.
next with this? Actually, no, before we leave DBD, I want to talk about
Yes.
MMR quickly. Because I mentioned it to you and a couple of others. Since MMR, I've been doing a little bit of an experiment that for all my Survivor games, I haven't kept track of when I've been killer, but all my Survivor games on stream, Diana's getting bad ideas. Um, I would write down what map we got, who the killer was, how many
Oh, bye
kills they
back.
got, how many kills they got. Um, yeah, buyback indeed. So yeah, what map, what the killer was, what the result was, and what the four perks were, just to see some interesting trends. And there were 29 games I've got down, which two of them I didn't stay around to see what the perks were, but I knew exactly what the game results were. Um, so of these 29 games, 8 of them were 4Ks, 5 of them were 3Ks, 3 were 2Ks, 5 was a 1K, and 7 were no kills. And I died in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of the 29. So I died in most of them. I did die in most of them. And a couple of perks I also wrote down of how many times they appeared in the 29 games. Ruin appeared 11 times. And I think 8 of those times were with Undying as well, or any other hex to protect it. So Undying Thrill, or even there was like a Ruin and Devour. 13 of the games had Barbecue, and only 3 had Know It.
Hmm.
Um, I
Um.
didn't track who got the most kills, but there was quite a few Spirits, Wraiths, Blights, a couple of Billies, um, a singular Myers as well. Um. Oh, so Beck's not coming back for a while. That feels bad.
Yeah, so apparently YouTube has one flaw with its streaming. The
Yeah.
fact when you time someone out, you cannot untime them out. Apparently that's a
Uh.
thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so you can't
Um.
actually untime someone out.
She'll
Anyway,
be back.
continue.
Um. But yeah, there was actually a lot of Franklins. That's something I found. There's quite a few Franklins. And I'm going to quickly do this in my head. Of the 29 games, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
I just want to quickly
17.
interrupt your counting.
Okay.
Diana, Beck has reached out to me. I can hear the spirits from beyond. She said that she's fine and that she's not mad. And she will probably be back afterwards.
17 of the 29 games, or 27 of the ones I recorded perks for. So 17 out of 27 had at least one hex perk of some description, including Nowed. I did include Nowed in that. So hexes are definitely the meta, and I think the majority of those games also had a slowdown perk of some description. But yeah, very interesting just to see. And there was 1 DC in that whole set. 1 DC. But definitely, there's definitely a pattern. Like, I might afterwards get up the individual breakdowns of how often a particular perk showed up. But yeah, very interesting things. After stream, I'll probably put like a thing together of like list the percentage of how often a perk showed up across these. Yeah,
make some graphs.
Yeah, just some statistics. But yeah, for those that like statistics, there are some there. But
yeah, definitely. Make like a doc for it or something. You could even put it in the description of this video or something.
I'll probably do as well. Probably maybe over the next 2 weeks. And we can talk about it in a couple of weeks' time. I'll do the same, but with killer games. I'll keep track of. Oh, is stream dead? We okay? I'll keep track of the Perk Survivors run and do the same thing. Because I think that could be another interesting thing to look at. And then compare to see if there's more variety in killer perks or survivor perks. Anyway, what did you want to talk about?
Okay. Let me see our little perklet.
Welcome back, Beck.
Sorry. Topic list. That's the one. Talking about perks for so long, I was tripping out. Okay, I got a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of ghosts, since Beck has now returned, on our list we had thoughts on the rising, I guess you could call it fad or whatever of
the ghost
new
hunting
games. Yeah, a lot of ghost hunting games have come out recently. It seems to have become very popular.
Yes. I enjoy the genre a lot. And the more recent ones popping up is very fitting for this time of year. It's going into spooky month. Once again, shout out to our background for the podcast. You're not big on those games though, are you?
Yes, I'm not, because I am a huge
You're a coward.
I am. I'm proud to say it. I don't enjoy those games because I'm one of those people. I love watching people play horror games, but if I'm put into that horror game, I will literally just sit in a corner and be like, I am not moving. This is my corner now.
Um, I definitely enjoy them. I don't really think I'll play too much of the newer ones.
I'm guessing you're just gonna commit to Faz since you've already
Probably,
sunk a lot of
probably Fizz and
hours.
Ghost Hunter. Yeah. I have seen a little bit of gameplay of the other ones coming out, but
Yeah.
um, probably just stick to the current ones because I feel like there's the Egyptian one and there's a couple of others coming out. I feel like they're going to drop off pretty quickly, or not drop off, but not. I feel like Ghost Hunters and Faz are going to be the leaders.
I like which one was the one that made it so once you actually figured out what the ghost was, you could fight it? That
That's
sounded
Ghost
pretty cool.
Hunters, like
Yeah,
the
I thought that was a
exorcism.
cool concept.
The exorcism.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ghost Hunters cool.
I thought that was a cool idea, like something to bridge up on that
the
Faz doesn't have.
the Egyptian one's Forewarned, I think it's called. Um,
Oh my god, Goki. Oh
ignoring that,
no.
surely we can get you to do a Faz stream for Halloween.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
I don't even have the
no,
game.
don't worry, you'll get the game. If someone will give you
No.
the game, someone will give you the game.
When I think I got it refunded when I got it. Cause like when I played it, I just sat in the van. I was like, this is my van now. I own this vehicle.
Speaking of new games,
hmm
the release of New World, or as it's commonly called, New Q, that had a very interesting release.
Oh yeah. I think it was one of those situations where they didn't really expect the amount of
They
popularity it got, so they underprepared.
underprepared is putting it
Yeah.
lightly. The wait time on the servers for the first couple of days, I think it's getting a little bit better now, but it's still pretty high.
Yeah, they've added more servers.
They've added more
now.
servers, but New
Yeah.
World's a brand new MMO, been hyped up for ages. It actually looks really good from what I've seen as well.
It does.
It looks
yeah.
really good.
For an MMO, I don't usually play those types of games, but it
No,
seems
but,
like it's pretty interesting.
It's not something I'm going to go out and go like, oh, okay, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to play it heaps. But like, I would down the line be like, okay, we should play some New World and play some friends, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, the release of it was woeful. So everyone tried to play it at once, and like people were logging in as soon as the servers went live and waiting for like 4+ hours.
Yeah, no streamers. I noticed.
Streamers
like,
struggled. There were so many streamers that went to stream it, and after like I think some guy went for 10 hours and then called it because they couldn't get in.
Yeah.
I was watching Kaif, a UK YouTuber, playing with some of his friends in EU, and someone in his chat, because this streamer, by the way, gets like 1,000 to 2,000 people each stream, like at concurrent viewers. That's the word. He gets a lot of people. Someone in his chat was saying in the server they were playing on, whatever it was, I don't know which server, there was a waiting queue of 25,000 people for a single server.
Oh my god.
Because each server caps at 2,000 people.
Yeah, 2,000. That feels like so little.
Someone in Jamie's chat, might have been Lay. If it wasn't Lay, then I'm going to make it look really good right now. Take off the credit she didn't do. But someone pointed out the cap of 2,000 people is the same amount that RuneScape caps on for each server.
God damn.
Which really gives you some context.
Like, 2,000 isn't even the equivalent of like most rural towns that I'm surrounded by.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even the equivalent. Like, I think the town I live in is like 8,000 people.
To be
That's
fair,
it.
you're probably you'd be, unless you want to go a couple of hours away, you'd be the biggest town in that stretch, though.
No, I think there's there's like two other towns near me that are pretty equal. And by
Yeah.
near me,
But
I
you're
mean like
definitely in
there's
one of the.
one.
But what the point I'm
Yeah,
making is that there's about a population of 8,000 in your town, and you'd be one of the bigger towns in your
yeah. But even then, it's
area.
like the fact that they won't room more than 2,000 people, which isn't even half of that. That's pretty
Well, someone
silly.
pointed out 2,000 is about the size of a lot of high school assemblies.
My God,
Yeah.
that's
Um,
insane.
and it's a game I might get at some stage, but definitely gonna wait till the hype dies down a bit and just see.
So,
Like, it
is
won't
it
die
free?
off. No, it's like 50
How
bucks,
much
I
is it?
think.
Yeah, no, thank you. I don't have that money.
Um, but yeah, that was a interesting, very, very interesting um release, and a lot of people weren't happy.
Yeah, I heard a lot of like people love the game. It's just that was the
Oh,
big
the game
downside.
looks fantastic. Like once you get in, it's phenomenal. But
Mm.
it's just getting into the game.
Can you like AFK in it or like
I mean, I think
I'm
Jamie
pretty
the other
sure there'd be like
day he was playing Binding of Isaac for like 3 or 4 hours waiting for the queue.
no, I mean like once you're in the servers,
I
does
don't
it
know.
kick you out after like AFK?
I think it probably would after a while.
Because like imagine like waiting hours to get into New World and then
Oh
you
yeah.
leave for like a second or like a second too long and you just get kicked. Imagine how upset you'd get.
Mm.
Ugh.
Something else that's been getting popular is VTubers.
Yeah, I honestly I'm shocked at how popular
Like
VTubers have gotten.
it's always been a thing, like to some degree, like VTubing. Like
Mhm.
probably the first VTuber I properly knew would have probably been Angel of all people.
Yeah.
Um, and when she was doing it, it was like a lot of people haven't. Like this is really odd because not a lot of people did it. It's different, and because it's different and uncommon, it's weird. There was a few people that would like do like a proper animal, like not so much like a furry or anything, but it'd be like
But like a literal cat.
yeah, or a dog or something like that.
Yeah,
And
like
like
um I know of a Paladins YouTuber that has a cat as their VTuber.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's definitely picked up in trend.
I
Definitely
agree.
really picked up, and
I honestly respect it.
it
I don't have anything against people who
neither do
VTube.
I.
I think it's fine. I think the
There's
people
definitely
I have
some
problems
people.
with.
Okay, you go.
I think you were gonna say the same thing I am, so just go ahead.
I was gonna say the people that get really weird and creepy with it.
Oh well, no, that's not what I was gonna say. Well, I thought you were gonna go along the same thing I was gonna say, but never
Go
mind.
on what you were
Well,
saying.
I was gonna say that like the thing I don't like is when people jump on getting a VTuber for the clout, like because of the fact that it's
Trying to jump on the
popular.
bandwagon. They're jumping on the
Yeah,
bandwagon.
exactly. Like I could understand maybe getting a VTuber because you're not really confident with showing your own face, or you want to keep some
Yeah,
confidentiality about yourself, which that's completely fine in my
yeah.
opinion.
Um, like it's not quite VTubing, but it's similar-ish. Like trying to protect and like portraying something else a lot of the time. Entity's Left Hand,
Mm.
where he like the full trapper mask and everything like that, and like properly role plays as the trapper.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty
People that
cool.
use like VTubing for that kind of regard, like it's not them like I'm gonna make a VTuber of someone that looks like me because I'm just not comfortable showing my face. Well, that's one thing in itself. That's fine. But the people that like make a VTube character and have the whole like they give it a whole personality. It's someone completely different. That's great. I love that.
Yeah. No,
Um,
it's pretty cool. I also think it's just an easier way to interact with people still and show your reactions without having to get all glammed up like some females do. Because like I've noticed that it's a lot more popular with female like
yeah,
and stuff
a
like that
part of it would
than it
be
is with
it
males.
like if you're a VTuber, you could have just literally gotten
Mm.
out of bed, look like a complete mess. So long as you're in decent enough state that the camera can track you. Oh, the stream crashed again. All
Maybe
right.
we shouldn't. Like, is it just
It's OBS.
like
OBS is playing up the last couple of days. It's an OBS thing.
uh
My internet and
right?
everything's fine. We should be back now.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, um, like yeah, people using VTuber as a whole character, I love that. And yeah,
Mm.
like it's a lot easier for people. Like use the example of females, which is probably definitely a lot more prominent with females, because like it doesn't matter. Like you could get straight out of bed and go, as long as the camera can track you, like you're in a decent enough state for that.
Yeah.
Um, it doesn't really matter. Like complete bad hair, no makeup, anything like that. Sure, and even guys don't have to really worry about it at all. Like it takes me usually maybe 10 minutes to properly get ready, and that's if I don't want to just take the lazy route and put a beanie or a hat on. Which, if I've got a beanie or a hat on, it's because I couldn't be bothered actually making myself look decent as far as my hair is concerned. Just a disclaimer. But I feel like, as sad as it is, a lot of the reason VTubing's become more prominent with females is because of the creeps on this, well, not on this
I
platform,
was
but yeah,
literally, yeah, I was gonna say that as well. I think one of the main issues, like the reason people kind of go to VTubing is more of having like a safe place for
yeah,
people to
and
like
there's
be
a
able to have some way around that. Yeah.
there's a big element that is the whole idea of just people being creepy towards females. But I feel like the other is, I'm not saying it's more common in women, but I think it's definitely more open with women. Like men probably try to suppress it a bit more, but a lot of it is not being comfortable in their own appearance entirely. So like, let's just some some female streamer not say they're a bit like is it working now? I'm hoping it's working now.
Let me look.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, it's working.
Um, but yeah, like say, I think I can't remember the streamer's name, but some woman, she was in an accident. I think it might have been a car crash, and so she had a lot of like scarring and injuries and stuff, and she didn't feel comfortable being on camera because she wasn't happy with how she looked afterwards. So she made a VTuber model of like a very like attractive female blah blah, because that's like because of her own insecurities, because of what her appearance now is, because of her accident. She wanted to be something a lot more attractive or look completely different. And I feel like that's an element as well, because like at the end of the day, you can make your avatar whatever you want.
Yeah, and it's like you can just have it with any perfections you want,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
even something
I think.
simple. Oh, I'd rather be blonde rather than have dark hair.
Mm, I think one of the issues too with VTubing is it also brings its own level of toxicity to it as well. Because like
I've
people
heard
come
that.
in
Yeah.
being toxic and going, "Oh, I bet you're actually really ugly," or you're probably like all this kind of shit, and it's terrible. Like people just love to find the bad like side of everything
Hmm.
on like.
A question for
uh,
you: with you getting
Yes.
back into streaming,
Mhm.
and because I know you're not terribly comfortable being on camera, would you
Yeah.
consider VTubing?
If I had a model, I would definitely do it. Yeah. I wouldn't mind it, like, because I don't see myself getting a face cam anytime soon. Because obviously I'm in a laundry at the moment, if you guys didn't know.
Yeah.
So like you'd be looking at the bottles of fucking chemicals on behind me on the table, and you'd see like the ironing board and the clothes rack. Like it's not a very appealing background, and it's not like I have enough room to like set up a green screen or something. But yeah, it's like if I had the opportunity to get a VTuber, because VTubers, if you didn't know, they cost thousands of
Oh, they're
dollars.
expensive.
Yeah, people spend
People
so much
don't
money.
realize how expensive they are.
Yeah, I remember seeing someone having a fucking having it looked so funny to me. They had a goal to get one of their arms as a dono goal.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Like, oh yeah, just get
Yeah.
basic animation. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, blah blah. And then realize how much it was.
Yeah, it some people will like spend up to like 5 grand.
Now, is there anything else you wanted to cover? Or are you done for your side of topics?
Oh, are we ending or
Up to
what
you.
do you mean?
If you have anything else you
Um,
want to talk about.
well, we didn't cover all of our topics, so I think I want to do one more at least.
Okay.
I would really love to talk about retro games, like games we played when we were
Yes.
kids and stuff, and like what consoles we liked. I really wanted to get into that as a topic because I loved playing games when I was younger.
Yep.
Okay, so what consoles did you have in your household when you were
Uh,
just a wee child?
we had the original PlayStation,
Yeah, me too.
2 PlayStation 2s.
Why two? I had one. Okay,
um,
that's a weird flex.
I can't remember why, but I think it's because I always had one in my room that would I play all the time, and we had like a games sort of set up in our like studio we've got downstairs, and I didn't
Mhm.
want to move it down there, and my sister always wanted to play different games, blah blah. So as a Christmas present, we got a second one,
Oh
and
yeah,
then we
fair
all
enough.
and that
Yeah.
one lived down there, and then we both got a like my sister and we both got a DS each, which she eventually got
Yeah,
a
I got a
she got a
DSi.
she got a 3DS as well of a bit later on, which I still have my old school DS lying around somewhere.
I have my DSi. I still have
Then
that.
we eventually got an Xbox. Pretty much when the Kinect came out.
Mhm.
When that came out, we got Xbox, and then
Yeah.
eventually I went in when I was like 14, 15 when I started my football umpiring. The first thing I spent my money on, I spent like about $500. No, sorry, not $500. $800. Getting the Xbox One, which at the time was about 6 months old, and a TV in my room. Like I think it was like a 32-inch, like a really decent TV. Um,
Mm.
and set it all up in my room. So that was the first thing I like properly saved up and spent for myself. And it's the same Xbox I still use. Very old.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very old.
Damn, it's
I
still
say very
going.
old. It's what 7, 8 years old and still works pretty well. Which for those kind of consoles isn't too bad.
Yeah, honestly, getting like
It's
3
got
years out of it, you're pretty good.
it's
Like
only got
worth.
500 gigs of storage, but that's not the point.
Yeah, it's at least it's something.
It's not a lot of storage, but that's not the point.
Ah, yeah.
What were
Well,
your consoles?
so my consoles was I had the original PlayStation, as I said before. I also had the PlayStation 2. We actually at one point ended up getting a new PlayStation. This is kind of illegal, but I'll tell you. So we actually had a chipped PlayStation, which for all you people out there who don't know what that is when you have a PlayStation that's been modified to save games onto it. So
Oh
we
yeah.
I don't know where we got it from, but all I remember was like my someone in my family had gotten one, and what we would do is we'd go to the video shop and we'd hire games, and then we would burn them onto the PlayStation, and then we'd be able to play them after we return them. So yeah, it's kind of not legal, but
Well, I mean,
it's
it's
just like
like
the
there was
equivalent of
always
pirating a
the
movie. So
like for the DS. My sister has one. I've got two of these.
oh yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
chips.
There was the thing you could put into the back of it. I forget
Yeah.
what it was called.
Um, and it was like on a micro SD card, and it saved all the ROMs, and you just played off that.
I do
Um,
remember that. My brother had one of those.
I had two.
Now that I'm, you had two, not one,
That's
but
not the
two.
point. Um, but yeah, definitely. There's
And
some
then
older games I do want to go back and play though.
yeah, I was gonna quickly say the rest of the consoles.
Oh
The
yeah,
only
sorry.
other console I remember having other than those ones was a GameCube. I remember I had a GameCube. Oh, and I also had Nintendo 64 or whatever they were called.
I
The ones
just
where you could put like the big like chips into. I'm pretty sure I had one at one point, and then also my auntie had one that we played.
that reminds me as well. One console I didn't mention, the original Wii.
Oh yeah, the Wii! I completely forgot. I also had a Wii when I was growing up. Yeah,
And my proudest
I loved
achievement
the
on
Wii.
it was getting 300 in Wii Sports Bowling.
Dude, I remember how pissed I got when we lost our Wii Sports game. We just
We bought
completely
another one.
lost it. We didn't
It's
end up
like
buying another
I
one.
don't know if it still is, but it was like the most sold game of all time.
It was, and same with the there was the Wii Sports Resort one. It wasn't there as well, where you could like fly planes and stuff like that.
Okay, so I just googled now. It's now number 4. Third is Tetris. Second,
Tetris on the Wii?
no, I'm talking about games in general,
Oh, I
not
thought
just
you
on the
meant on
Wii.
the
In
Wii.
general,
Okay, yeah,
so Wii Sports is fourth with 82,900,000 approximately. Like this is all approximately.
yeah.
So
Damn,
82,900,000. Tetris is
Mhm.
third at 100 million.
Mhm.
Second is GTA 5 with 150 million.
What? That's crazy. No
And
wonder they haven't released another one.
first
They're
place
banking.
is Minecraft. So GTA
Oh,
had
of course.
150 million. Minecraft 238 million sales.
Of course, Minecraft's at the top.
Oh yeah,
I like Minecraft,
but
don't get me
Minecraft is
wrong.
still doing like strong now. Like it died off for
Yeah,
like
it
a year or
is.
two. It dipped off a fair bit, but now it's still pretty strong.
Yeah, no, it randomly got popularity like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, my favorite games on the consoles when I was growing up. I loved Crash. Great games,
Yes.
Crash Bandicoot. I also
Crash of the
played
Titans, not
Croc.
so much.
Oh yeah,
I
that
don't even
game
know
was
that
there.
game.
I know you don't. Croc.
I
Beck
don't.
would agree. Croc is good, and you said you were gonna play it at one point, and then you
No.
crushed your
No.
dreams.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Croc is a game about I think he was a crocodile. Yeah, that makes sense because his name's Croc. It's kind of a lazy name in my opinion, but whatever. And he
Yeah.
was this dude that went around collecting crystals, and I forget what his main goal was. He was trying to save someone or like save like these little kiwi looking dudes. And either way, it was such a fun game. They made a second one as well.
I was definitely big on all the Crash games. One game
Mm.
and I suppose Halo as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah. I played Halo as well on the
15 million in
Xbox.
the world. Um, I think this is purely video, like actual like hard
Copies,
copies.
not like
Yeah,
not the digitals as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, like on console, not including like the actual Tetris.
Mm.
Otherwise, then Tetris is miles above everything else. Um,
Yeah.
virtual copies is probably the best way to put it. Like virtual game. But
Mm.
that aside, one game I played the shit out of as a kid and loved. Did you ever played Spy vs Spy?
Wait.
It was a game where
Right.
there was these little like rats or mice that were spies, and there was like different
Oh, I
level.
do remember this. I'd
Yeah,
never played it, but I do
it
know of
was
this
like
game.
the game we would always play as kids. My sister and I always play against each other. I have so many good memories of that game.
Okay, one game. I don't know if anyone knows of it here, but Sly Cooper was the shit. I loved that game so much.
That's another one I
It
don't know.
was yeah, you uncultured man. I don't know.
Apparently
I don't know
so.
what to tell you. Oh, so good. But yeah, I played also Ratchet and Clank. Those games were good. My mum, fucking big fan of those games.
I
If you
never,
talk shit about him, she'd probably deck you.
I never
No.
played them.
Yeah, I know. Like, what is wrong?
um,
Like, I loved Ratchet and Clank and also
Peggle was a
Spyro.
fun game. I never played Spyro either.
Oh. Oh, I'm canceling the podcast, man. It's been fun. We've had a good run, but I think I'm gonna go. I've never felt so attacked. You don't know any of the childhood games besides Crash. That's the only one you know.
And Halo and COD.
Oh yeah, true. Halo. But I didn't play COD when I was younger. No.
I only played it for Mate's Place because,
Oh wait,
11
no.
and 12-year-olds playing a World War II game.
If you're talking about like when it was out on like the PS3 and stuff, I did play it then, but I only played Zombies.
Oh, Zombies is amazing. I want to do more. I actually want to stream Zombies at some stage.
I wish I had COD on my PC. I'd love to play Zombies, but it's fucking expensive.
Oh, they're still so pricey. Like, Black Ops 3, because I'll be honest, Black Ops 4 does not interest me that much at all. Let me see how much it costs. Because it doesn't, like, you know how games usually, like, these kind of games, they'll go down in price, like, later on.
Yeah.
Online, like, virtual ones do not.
They don't. Steam is especially bad for not discounting older games.
Where does it have the actual individual
Call of Duty Black Ops 3 on Steam is $90. Still. $90.
Yeah.
Like, that is insanity.
Yeah. Great game, though. Like...
I haven't played it. I've only played Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1.
I played Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, a little bit of Black Ops 4, and, like, the Modern Warfare games at Mates' Places. When I was younger, like about 13, 14, I would always... So every weekend would be the same thing. It was the year of Black Ops 2. Like, it was... That was the COD of the year. Every Saturday night, I would stay at my mate's place from school, best mate from school. I'd stay at his place. We would stay up till like midnight, 12:30, 1 o'clock, whatever, playing COD and FIFA. Then the next day,
yeah,
I would go to his footy game he'd play because the majority of his team were all other mates from school and from cricket. So I'd go and watch their games. And that was the thing we did every single weekend. And they're a Italian family that grow all their own food. Ooh. So it was like a proper homegrown Italian dinner every Saturday night, which nothing against home cooking here, but there's just something about like homemade Italian dinners.
Oh, the stream buffered for me for a second.
I haven't dropped any frames on my end.
Okay, that might have just been me then.
It says it's fine on YouTube's end at the moment as well.
Cool.
Yeah, so that would be every Saturday night. And I'm talking like, I would get to his place like 4:30, walk in, all you can smell is like the meat sauce of the lasagna that's been cooking like all day.
Oh, slow cooked meals are great. Oh, that's so good.
They made an amazing, what's it called? Oh, what's the name of it? Spaghetti bolognese.
Yes.
And even a few times like a whole like roast chicken as well.
I feel like for like different like cultures, food and stuff, I feel like there's so many places that do such great meals and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like Australia has such boring meals. It's like
meat pie from the servo.
That's pretty good, but it's like not up there like the other stuff that other people make.
Now one thing. Is there anything else before we wrap up podcast? Is there anything else, whether it's with what we're talking about then or anything else you want to cover?
Meat pie and fairy bread, yes. The ideal meal. Put them both together.
Or my sandwich of butter, Vegemite, hundreds and thousands with peanut butter.
Oh, dude, I tried that.
It's bad.
It is.
That was like my go-to as a kid. That was my go-to as a kid, and now people wonder why I can't stand peanut butter.
I still can eat peanut butter though. But
And
I
like
did make weird sandwiches like that when I was younger. Like, I
um,
actually put custard in that combo too. I don't know what was wrong with me.
there's a lot wrong with childhood me. Don't worry. Um,
As as far as topics go, we've been going for like what, 2 hours
bang
now?
on 2 hours. Yeah.
Mm. Um, I did want to ask you one more thing. There's one more thing I
Yes.
did want
Yes.
to ask you about. So there's been like I think one of the most probably controversial social media websites would be Twitter.
Oh
What is
yeah.
your opinion on it?
Twitter is
Because
exceptionally toxic.
yeah, no, because like I've heard of a lot of people literally they don't even go near Twitter because they hate
I
the community
Twitter's one of
around
my
it.
more active platforms. Like I'll be honest, it's one of my more active ones.
Hmm.
But with the exception of a couple like like um more famous people, the majority of people I follow or interact with period are like other content creators I know well.
Yeah.
Like there's a few big streamers and that I follow and that and a couple of celebrities. But like
Mm.
the majority is like people I already network with and like
Yeah.
interact with. So I don't see a lot of the toxic side of Twitter because I don't really stray from my own little like I say little, it's not a little bubble, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Um, what's your thoughts on Twitter?
I definitely do feel like with the rise in cancel culture,
Oh
because
yeah,
that has been
cancer
a
cultures.
huge like thing that has happened over the last few years where people have just started to viciously attack people when they get
Because of
under
something
some
that
sort of
happened like 10 years ago that was actually fine and appropriate at the time, but because it didn't age well, they need to be cancelled because they're clearly a terrible person.
yeah. And I feel like um with some things people decide that it's not a joke just because they don't see it as a joke.
Yeah.
When some things can be said, like I personally I love dark humor.
Oh yeah, I'm the same. I love
I
it.
am I'm
It's
a
my
big
favorite
fan
kind
of
of
it
humor.
because it's the type of thing where you can joke about like pretty much anything is on the table for dark humor, and that's what I love about it. It's like you're making something that's more of like a very like depressing situation into something that people can have a laugh at,
Mm.
and it's not like people are making it into a joke. They're not
Yeah.
taking it
Like,
seriously. It's more
I,
that like people are just you know they're
like,
not.
I'll be honest. I'm the kind of guy that enjoys jokes at a funeral. No, like in the regard of instead of like funerals
Instead
are a
of being
very depressing
depressed.
place to be, but
Yeah.
like when you can find humor and instead of like you're always going to be like mourning whoever's died, but like I would rather like have jokes about like some of the things that happened when said person was alive rather than just
So yeah, so you're
weeping
the
our
type
own
of
sorrow.
person. Yeah, so you're like the type of person that like wants to celebrate their life
Yeah,
more than mourn who
and
them being
with
gone.
humor is a great way to do that.
Yeah, I feel like humor is one of those things that helps just people get through really bad situations.
And like I also tend to laugh in serious situations because like a lot of serious situations can be quite tense and stressful, blah blah.
Yeah.
Laughing and joking around is sort of like a way to relieve that pressure.
Mm. I know that my boyfriend Gaki, he has a tendency to laugh when he gets nervous. So like,
Yeah, a lot of
it's like
people have that
different
as well.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah. They're like they have different ways of, venting that sort of like over stimulation with your emotions type of thing. And I feel like dark humor, if you're not meaning, because like the thing with dark humor is if you don't mean it with malicious intent, if you're just making a joke, because that's what it is at the end of the day. Like, I remember, this is a random situation, right? But I remember I was on this really small bus, right?
mm-hmm.
On the way back from an excursion at
Yes.
school, right? So, I was coming back from an excursion, and me and my friends decided to do some your mama jokes. You know, the classic, like, your mum jokes. Like, your
Yep.
mum's so
Okay.
fat, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember when I was getting off the bus, one of the substitute teachers that was in the bus with us said to me, "Oh, I was hearing your jokes on the bus, and as a mother, I'm offended." I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, it was all
Yeah.
meant in good fun. Like, it was a joke.
Hmm.
Like, it wasn't like I was personally pointing out that one mother, Barbara, who,
Yeah.
you know, microwaves her food in the community microwave,
Yeah.
and then
Nice.
doesn't, like, clean it. You know, I'm not calling people out. I'm more just, it's like the same thing with bantering with people.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer. Like, if you can deal it, you can take it.
Yeah. Like, for example, I have a friendship with Adam. Adam is a very good
Yep.
example of this, right? Because literally all of his friendships are him and that person taking the shit out of each other.
Look at
Like, they always just banter each other.
look at Empty and I.
Yeah,
Look at
you
Jamie
and
and I.
Empty. Yeah. You guys will say, like, "Oh, fuck you," and call you out on shit, and then at the end of the day, you guys are, like, really good friends
You've
with
heard my
both.
most recent alert I've put
Yeah.
in stream.
It's like, I feel like with dark humor, people just take it way too
Oh
seriously when
yeah,
it's not meant to be like that.
100%.
I think dark humor is supposed to be something that's, like, obviously it can be very, like, a sensitive topic for some
Oh yeah,
people, but
absolutely.
it's not meant to be making fun of you if you've been through any situation with that kind of stuff. It's supposed to just be taking light from it. Because, like, some people, when they have bad memories, they look back on them and they laugh.
Like, there's
They, like,
definitely dark humor jokes that you can say that is just not appropriate for that setting. Like,
yeah.
you get those idiots that like have, say, like an indigenous friend that's had a lot of racial issues in the past, so they start doing like dark humor in a racist, like the racist dark humor,
Well, yeah.
and it's like that's just like you're just being an idiot at this stage. Like, it's not funny.
Mm. If it's not funny, then it's not a
Like,
joke.
dark humor is great, but there's definitely a time and a place for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is
It's not
not,
always
which is
made for
not on a
everywhere.
live stream in front of people.
Oh, yeah, pretty
I
much.
don't want to get banned.
I have one funny joke that's pretty much, it's kind of messed up.
I mean,
I won't. It's not like racist
like,
or anything.
yeah,
It's, I will say this, right?
yeah,
So me and my brother, we like to put jokes on the side of our fridge, like
yeah.
joke of the week and stuff. The current joke we have up there is one I put up, and it says, I was reading this book about an immortal dog. It's a great read. It was impossible to put down.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like, my kind of humor that's like doesn't violate TOS or anything like that as well is I feel sorry for dyslexic kids in December because they keep sending their Christmas letters to Satan.
I've heard that joke.
Like, that one's just funny.
Oh, there's
like,
another one, right?
Or like other kind of like, not to cut you off, but I will cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Other humor is like one of my mates from school. I really don't talk to him anymore, but he was diabetic, and he was the one that made the most jokes about his own diabetes. Like, I think he said the sweetest thing about him is his blood sugar, and like just shit like that.
I know this one. Orphan jokes off the table.
Probably pushing it.
I was just. This one's pretty funny. Okay, so it's like,
God. You're gonna get me banned.
so there's this one joke where it's like, what kind of flower do you give an orphan? Self-raising flower.
Oh, we're going down a rabbit hole we really shouldn't.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. That's the type of joke where it's like, you know, making light of it, for example.
So is there anything you wanted to bring up before we finish up?
Is there anything you want to bring up? Because I think I've pretty much covered what I wanted to talk.
So there is something I did want to bring up with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you're going to react to this.
Oh. Okay.
So, without going into details, because the last thing you really want is the nitty gritty details of it to be put out in the public domain. But
Uh-huh.
your living situation isn't the greatest. To put it
Mm-hmm.
lightly. Without
Yeah.
going into details, like even just you talking before about the having to be on the PC in the laundry and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And particularly with like some of the things that's happened recently, which once again, not going to go into details because that's not for public.
Yeah.
You know very well how I feel about you being where you are.
Yes.
So I've been talking with your boyfriend,
Yes.
and because we both want you out of where you are now,
Mm-hmm.
so and because I know to get from where you are to where he is not cheap, because you know
No.
just one side of the state to the other, no biggie. Um,
Yeah.
don't play the innocence card on me, Goki. You're in as deep as I am for this. Um, what I am going to do for
Mm-hmm.
the entire month of October, I am going
Mm-hmm.
to have a donation goal on stream, and every single dollar of it is going to go towards you getting up to Goki and actually
Aw.
moving in with him,
Aw.
because we both want you out of there. And to be perfectly honest, if I had the money spare to do it, I would have done it the other night. So for
That's
the
really sweet. I
so
don't I
so
don't know
for
what to say.
so for the whole month, so starting Sunday until Halloween, every single cent from the donations will go towards you being able to move out and move in with Goki. And that also includes or any donations from the subathon in a couple of weeks.
I don't know what to say. I feel
Yeah,
put on the spot.
because you do a lot behind the scenes that people don't really know nor probably appreciate because they're not aware of it. Like the fact you basically run the Discord.
Well,
because
I guess.
because you do it a lot better than I do. That's my own Discord, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do a lot for me behind the scenes, and seeing a lot of the stuff that goes on with you absolutely kills me. So I want to do everything I can to get you to somewhere that's a bit better for you than where you are now.
Really means a lot to me. I can't really express in words how much that means to
Yeah, so
me.
yeah, every single cent. I nearly accidentally revealed it to you the other day when I was showing overlay stuff to you. I nearly accidentally showed the goal that was sitting there, which I had to hide pretty quickly, but that's not the point.
Even like click either. I didn't see anything.
I hit it, that's why you didn't see anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the entire month, every single cent will go towards you being able to move up there.
Yeah, that really means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
And Goki, don't try and backpedal out of it. You're just as deep as I am.
I'm gonna be talking to you later.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get Grumpy Burrito a bit later on. Have fun with that. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to save it to the end because I didn't really want to lay this on you first. By the way,
Yeah, just gonna lay this on you right now so you can't focus. Have fun.
but yeah,
Aw. Thank you. That really does mean a lot to me.
oh yeah, you're a big trouble, Goki. You're a big trouble. But anyway, that was all I wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
I
fair enough.
don't
That's
know.
why you kept asking me if I was done
Yeah, because
talking.
I didn't
I
want to go
see.
off that, and you're like, oh, by the way, we should talk about this. Like, oh.
I see the sneakiness. I see it. yeah, I think that's it for this stream. I think
Yeah.
we talked about a lot. I think we got
So
a lot of topics
definitely something
spoken
we'll be
about.
talking about in 2 weeks is me doing that experiment with the MMR from a killer point of view. And yeah, we'll figure out some other things to talk about in the Discord as well. There is a channel to talk, like suggest ideas you want to hear us discuss, which we will look through
It's
and
in the
add.
description.
Yes, as well as my socials and Burrito Socials. I'm definitely innocent. That remains to be determined.
I mean, if you're here, you might not be that innocent.
Yeah, if you're listening us babbling on for over 2 hours, I don't know about that. But yeah, that does it for me.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Fun.
I think the VOD will go straight up as well, pretty much as soon as I end. Maybe like take a little
How's
time
the
to
VOD
process.
gonna work? Because of the fact
It'll appear
that...
as a video.
Oh, no, but I mean the fact that it's cut out so many times.
It'll be like just a hard cut.
So it'll like come back in once. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, thank you all for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Burrito will be streaming Paladins or DBD at some stage. I'll be
yeah, maybe.
whenever you get a schedule together. I'll be streaming Witcher back on Twitch on Sunday. But yeah, appreciate you guys hanging out. Goki, it was nice knowing you.
Oh my god, he's dead. He's gone.
He will be when you talk to him later on. When's Burrito's next stream? When she figures this shit out.
No idea.
Soon.
I gotta make a Discord, but if you want to know, I'll probably post it on Twitter next time I stream.
And when she next streams, I'll definitely be plugging it in my own Discord. So.
Oh, okay.
So apparently he's streaming Sunday, according to Goki.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
But yeah, thank you all for hanging out and watching. And I guess we'll see you in another 2 weeks.
Yeah. See you guys.